Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's Transformation Tuesday, and I'm Dr. Kevin. Wishing you and hoping that you're having a great Tuesday. Boy, it's been interesting out there. How's everybody doing? Let me bring up a little bit of music. Let me make sure the volume is doing all right. Give me a message in the chat. Can you hear me? Am I coming through? Let's get started with that first and foremost. And like I said, it's Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday, and every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, we're supposed to be going live. But, life happens, and there's schedules and patience and traffic, and now there's lines in different places, and well, you got to restart the computer. Sometimes it takes longer to reboot than you expect, but here we are. Hopefully you're doing good. Decode your pain is what we're talking about tonight. And if you want to get there, you go to drkeving.com. Let me bring the microphone in a little closer here. Hold on a second. We got a whole new studio set up and arrangement, and we're just getting everything figured out, all the kinks. So type in the chat, am I coming through? How's everything tonight with you? Hopefully you're doing good. And what is Decode Your Pain? What is Transformation Tuesday? We're talking about the mind and body, the consciousness connection, personal growth, evolution, transformation. This is the time that we're in. All right, so let's check in. Let me check in the chat. Say hello. I think we're sounding pretty good. I think the music is coming through. I can't tell. Hey, if you're tuning in, tell me how's the music. Send me a message. How is that music? So, what I do every time we go on live is I pull up the book. I randomly flip open to a page, and today I got page 93. So let's pull up page 93 here. Pull that up right there. And I think we're in the right spot. Chapter 7. Could hear me, but could be louder. It always could be better. Indeed. Thank you very much for the information. And let's check on that. Mike. There we go. I think all the switches are up now. Should be coming through a lot better. The gain's up. The volume's up in all different ways. That's up. Okay, we're good. So hopefully that solves the problem. So here we are, Chapter 7, Changing Your Beliefs About How We Heal. So let's start with an idea. Thoughts are things. Literally, thoughts are things. Think about the time you got some bad news. How was that body language? In fact, think about a time you were out, you saw someone's body language, and you can imagine they're having a good day or not having a good day. You ever seen that? If you've seen that, type in yes, I've seen that. And think about, I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, and she, when I give her some instruction or ultimately I win the battle at hand, her posture, she immediately slumps her body, and her arms drag on the ground just about. And it got me thinking about how, as an adult, people maintain their postures for the most part, but there's that self within us, that child self state within us, that when we get news that we don't like, or we become vulnerable to somebody else's wishes, we just internally, our body language changes, and internally there's an electric charge that changes. Now bear with me. So electrical charge, it changes. We are electrical beings. And let me I'll pull up an image right now. I'm going to search with you right online right now, and let's see. EKG. You guys ever seen or heard of an EKG? What is electric EKG? Electrocardiogram, right? Also known as ECG, I believe. But they're measuring different heartbeats, the heart rate, and heart pulses, the different electromagnetic frequencies of the heart. How about MRI? What does the MRI stand for? Let's go to all. Right? Let's see if we can zoom in on that. Here it is right here. Let's see if we can zoom in. And then we'll pull a definition, because this is important. I know I'm a hound on this point. However, it has the average person I'm talking to, and people that I believe are conscious, have yet to put this two and two together here. So magnetic resonance imaging. We are magnetic individuals. Think about the time where you had your bare feet, or even socks on, you're rubbing your feet on the carpet, and then you go and touch somebody, or you touch a doorknob, and zzz, you get zapped. Sometimes that hurts. That hurts. There's proof in that we are electromagnetic beings. In fact, there's a term, let's pull that up right now. Right. Biofield. Let's pull that right? No, I did not. Biofield. Let's type in fact, human biofield. Let's take a look at the human biofield. And the biofield essentially is a field of energy similar to a magnet. This is measurable, demonstratable. It can be influenced. We know what to do with this. Well, some of us know what to do with this. And your heart produces its own field. Your brain produces its own field. Each of the 7 organs produce their own, 7 endocrine glands produce their own field. Every organ of your body, every tissue structure of your body produces its own field. Well, this is an artist's rendition, of course, of a Reiki session. But this is depicted in our history, in our artwork. People with the we'll call it the halo, right? When I'm in the middle of doing a healing session with somebody, and some of these people are very attuned, they will say, they get up and then, Doc, I can see something around your body that has a color to it. They'll tell me what that color is. And so we are learning. It's now trickling into acceptance that we are more than just physical bones and muscles and tendons and ligaments. And of course, you know that there's atoms and molecules and subatomic particles and all kinds of things in between the large and the small. However, what is coming on? I wish I was better prepared. I'm going to pull out a book. It's basically about the wave of the future of medicine. It has to do with light technology. LIGHT, light technologies, and from infrared lasers to different far infrared blankets and saunas and crystals and things that are affecting people. There's a technique, or excuse me, a study within ophthalmology that's in a more advanced level. I believe it's called synoptics, and they're putting different color lenses in front of people's eyes, shining different colored light in people's eyes, bringing about brain and neurologic changes. See, the brain is essentially the interface between internal and external. And if that gets compromised in any way, well, that cannot interpret, perceive, or respond as it normally could or optimally could. Well, that leaves us a big problem, because there is much in our current society today that is normal, standard practice, which toxifies the nervous system. The nervous system is where it's at. And anything that interferes or negatively affects that nervous system is negatively affecting and interfering with your life. Period. Done. Now, you have to put it up, and you can see this in posters behind here. But if you have to put it up, it says feeling versus function. People all the time have a pain or are feeling good. In fact, let's start with that. People are feeling good in their life. And then I come over and I start testing them. I'm testing their muscles and their ligaments and their joints, and they're failing everywhere. What happens, and this is a tough statement for me to say right now, and what happens is that we think we feel good. In fact, we don't even know what feeling good is like. That's a tough one right there. So that being said, there's a lot of shifting going on in the world today, and I won't even talk about the news, because in fact, the news may simply be a byproduct of it. And so there's a bigger effect. It's like saying people in the summertime are happier because, well, the days are longer, versus just saying that there's more sunlight coming in, and it has a positive effect on all kinds of functions in our human anatomy and our human physiology. And not just because the days are longer. And so there's a bigger cycle. We are electromagnetic, and that was the point of me introducing those images before. We are electromagnetic. There are cycles of effect that the Earth is moving through itself, that the physical planet Earth itself is going through. And like I said, I had to restart my computer before we started, and nothing I had before was here. So I'm just going to go with my word for it right now. So I'm going to type and text at the same time, and what I'm looking up is what's called the Schumann resonance. And I tried to show this before, and I have shown it before. And Schumann resonance and human psyche. I didn't spell that right, but we'll look that up right there. And so what we're looking at, and I had an article up here just a moment ago. This should be okay. And we're gonna play it. I'm gonna play it by the seat of my pants here, and not read this article before we go on live. And we're gonna read it together. And let's talk about the Schumann resonance. And essentially, what you want to think is electromagnetic frequencies. Right? When you hear me say that term, electromagnetic frequencies. So many pop-ups these days. Let's see. I'm trying to get this whole screen in here for you. All right. All right. The Schumann resonance itself. Think of it like a heartbeat or a rhythm to the physical planet Earth. Okay. Now, what we do know is that there is psychological effects. The Schumann resonance may not only affect the Earth. Now, like I said, it's like a heartbeat, it's a pulse of the planet Earth, and it has been going haywire over the last couple months. And we're seeing pretty high records, and we are at what's called a solar minimum. And if you look, and again, there's so much content I'm pulling up. I apologize, I'm moving too fast, but we're with the sun. We're at what's called a solar minimum, meaning the sun activity is low. And the physical planet Earth and its electromagnetic shields around it that protect us, if we are believing what we've been told by our scientists, that the sun and its effects, the Earth and its shields are responding. So when we're at a solar minimum, and when we're at a solar minimum, there's no need for the shields to be as strong. So the shields of the planet Earth are not activated as much. And so there's different effects that it has with earthquakes and volcanoes and motion within the currents and the temperatures and things of this nature. And so here we have the Schumann resonance, and it's like a heartbeat of the physical planet, and it has a hertz frequency, but it also has a power and an intensity. And there's a fourth factor, but I'm not remembering it right now. And so we've been seeing high levels of power. Here we go, right here. Now, studies show this phenomenon, the Schumann resonance. Let's pull it up for you. Right here. Schumann resonance in the human mind. Studies show that this phenomenon may indeed affect human consciousness. As I mentioned before, solar flares may contribute to spikes in frequencies as well. We mentioned that. This is known, in my opinion. Now, recent increases in measurements may not be a result of an increase in human brain activity disruption, but can be the cause of altered brain activity. Well, so what is altered brain activity? Well, it modifies the brain function in some way. We know we can stimulate people's brain and thinking patterns and memory patterns and all kinds of function patterns from external stimulus. This is known science these days. And here we have changes in the environment of the electromagnetic spectrum. And we know that electromagnetic frequencies affect satellites, power grids. Are they affecting human beings as well? So here we are. We had a scientist, Krylov, suggestion that the Schumann resonance affects the melatonin, which is a neurotransmitter critical in many functions of the human brain and entire body. And this specifically mentions the circadian rhythm, meaning your sleep cycle, both alertness and awakeness. If you may have been wondering, I don't know about you, but I know in my world, and I work with people every day, every patient, every person has been telling me about their inability to sleep at night. And I don't always tell them what's going on with the Schumann resonance, but I'm sitting there quietly correlating things in my own observations. But here we are. You have melatonin regulating sleep patterns, regulating blood pressure, and reproduction patterns. So let me put this question to you: If your sleep's a little off, and your blood pressure and whatever causes blood pressure to be different, if that's off, and imagine the things that cause you to want to reproduce, if that's different somehow, Do you think you're feeling normal? Do you think you're feeling aggravated? Do you think you're feeling angry? Now this doctor, Dr. Krylov, believes that human consciousness is affected simply because the Schumann resonance, that's what SR is there, the Schumann resonance frequencies occur at the same range as human brainwave frequencies, precisely the theta and alpha wave waves. So theta is where deep healing and meditation occur, and alpha is like really high functioning, and I'm definitely not on point with my definitions of that right now, but you can look it up, it's very easy. But if that Schumann resonant frequency is in the same ranges as the theta and alpha brain waves, that's affecting a lot of stuff. Now, in fact, in a technique in my profession, we use an instrument as a tool. Sometimes we assist with, and it looks like a gun. There's a lot of fun jokes with this. We call it the spine jackhammer, the zapper, the clicker, all kinds of fun things. However, it resonates, fires at a specific cycles per second, and it's in tune. It's aligned with the Schumann resonance. In fact, it's a little bit higher. The human body responds very nicely to that 10 to 12 cycles per second. However, what got us started on that, people who invented this tool and began to understand the science, found out the human body really responds to these frequencies, 7.83. And we know all of life is tuned into this. And so, when I was thinking about what to talk about today, I really wanted to talk about Chapter 5. And I'm going to pull Chapter 5 for you. Let's use the background there. That's not the right one. All right, here we are. So, we're in Chapter 7 right here. I want to talk about choosing your practitioner. That's what I flipped open to. So, I want to honor that for a second. And then I'm going to flip back to the thing that I wanted to talk about. And then we're going to wrap the night up. And so, choosing your practitioner. Let's get to that section right here. Second paragraph. There it is. Choosing your practitioner. So what I'm asking you to consider for yourself is consider healthcare like restaurants. When you go to an Italian restaurant, you're not expecting Chinese food. When you go to get Greek food, you're not expecting Cambodian, right? Do you eat that? It doesn't matter if you do or not. Just go with the analogy for a minute, please. And the idea is, if you go to a medical doctor, what are you getting? If you go to a dentist, what do you go to a chiropractor? What do you get? The question I have for you right now is, do you know what those professions deliver? Naturopathic doctor, how are they different than a traditional Chinese medicine doctor? How are they different than a chiropractor? How are they different? How are they different? Do you know how they are different? Do you know each of them, what they address? Do you agree with the philosophy in which they address you? So often today, we just go into things blind without ever considering what the effects are. And yes, the word side effect is really an effect. So, depending on what your philosophy, depending on your comfort level, have you looked into the type of practitioner and what the philosophy of that practice is? What is allopathic healthcare? What is vitalism? What is naturalism? What is holism? What is mechanic? I definitely said that wrong. Mechanism. Mechanicism. I definitely messed that up. Sorry about that. So the whole point is, what is the philosophy of the healthcare practice that you're seeking the care from? What is their goals? What is their targets? What's the philosophy in which they practice? Because that is everything. Everything. The average healthcare practitioner who's practicing the allopathic model will help you, and their hearts are good, and their minds are good, they're intelligent, they're benevolent, they're doing everything in their power to help you make it work. But what happens if the practice in which they are implementing their care is flawed, is harmful, in fact? What happened? What if then? I feel like I'm ranting here a little bit because I feel like I'm on the last-ditch effort for a lot of things to communicate with people. There's so much misinformation and misallocation and misrepresentation. I just had a couple people today talking about their vitamins, and some of these are people who are new, like very brand new in my practice, and I'm excited for their breakthroughs and for the things that I know they have available within themselves. Pushing, how do I say this, but introducing too many topics is going to overwhelm somebody. And someone's touting how many supplements they're taking, this, that, and the other thing. And I said, well, what's the supplement brand name? And they couldn't tell me. I'm like, okay, that's all right. I'm like, well, did you know that 90% of supplements are synthetic and not congruent with human consumption? What? I never heard that. Yes, you have, but in a different context. It's like picking out wine. Not all wine is made equal. It's like going out to eat. There is a difference between the $200 steak dinner versus the $2.99 all you can eat buffet steak dinner. There's a difference. Do you know what those differences are? There's a difference in your supplements. There's a difference in healthcare practices. There's a difference in all kinds of things. So this is what I flipped open today, and I didn't necessarily want to talk about that today. In fact, I didn't want to talk about that today. How about that, Apple? But I did anyway because that's what I flipped open to, because that's the guidance I was given, because I believe that there is a divine source in everything. If you look at chapter 9 of my book, everything is perfect. Quite the opposite perspective of what people are today. And yet somehow I do believe everything that's going on in the world here today and now is perfect. That's a deep one. So with that being said, what did I want to talk about today? Well, I want to talk about chapter 5. So let's pull up chapter 5 here. See if we can get to the right page. And then we're going to wrap up with this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you are tuning in, you want to get a copy of the book, drkevintransformations.com, DRKEVIN, transformations.com, TRANSFORMATIONS.com, or drkeving.com to make it easy. So life is a Mandelbrot. What is a Mandelbrot? What is a Mandelbrot? Oh my goodness, what is a Mandelbrot? So let me pull up an image of a Mandelbrot here for you, and you've seen it. Put my drink down. Pardon me. What is a Mandelbrot? Let's see if they have a good image for me here. I think they do. I know they do. All right, look at that, beautiful. There is the perfect image right there. Now it's like a kaleidoscope. And boy, I think they call that the beetle right there. And so what happens is when you, say I pick a spot like right here, right there. If I were to zoom in on that, in fact, you type in on your search engine there, for the Mandelbrot zoom. There it is right there, Mandelbrot zoom. And what we want to do, we want to go to the video section. And they have like, I'm going to go to an old school one. I'm not trying to get one that's too crazy. Here we go. Yeah, Mandelbrots are fractals. That's right, Mandelbrots are fractals. And fractals, well, humans are fractals. What is a fractal? Well, the best evidence of humans being fractals is humans produce other humans. That's a fractal. So the more you go in, the more it evolves, the more it stays the same, the more it just goes in and in and in and in. So like this one right here. This, you know, this is the one I was trying to avoid. I don't know why, but here we are watching it now. All right. So let's hit the play button and let it happen. Let's see if we can get some desktop audio in this too. Maybe there's music, maybe there's not. Let's take a look at this Mandelbrot, and what I want you to consider is that you have a layer of bone, you have a layer of muscle, you have a layer of tissue and skin, you have a layer, oh, it's loud. You got layers physical, you got layers emotional, you got layers energetic, non-physical. Yeah, it's catching up. And the more we go into the image, the more it repeats, and the more it goes to be the same. we'll see the image repeat. And this is just like life. There's the main image again. It just keeps on going deeper and deeper and deeper and repeats and repeats and repeats. And this is life. And we get chances to evolve and make new choice and make new decision and learn from the past and grow and evolve and expand. And then we get a chance, like today, tonight, literally tonight, for the next month and a half, we get a chance to repeat a cycle from 8 years ago and make new decisions, new choices, new life. At least the music's fun. So I'm going to turn that music down for myself. It's getting quite loud over here on my end. However, let me talk over this. I'm going to wrap things up because I've spent money, time, every resource in my book. I've hired the best. I've been with the best. And I'm excited to be able to tell people who they are. But it doesn't matter who they are. The point is, I've been educated on this type of understanding for a long time. Science is now has and has been proving it. We're finding fun things to demonstrate it nowadays. And this whole understanding of light and quantum is becoming more understood and more mainstream. And we're seeing the unique synchronicities of life. We're seeing the unique ability of one to influence the outcomes of life. However, there's something within that must be understood for the external to change as well. So I'm going to stop that right there. I'm going to bring you back and read you one of the best things I've ever been gifted. And I was gifted this about, well, it's interesting, 12/21/2018. And so this is what I'm going to end tonight on, this statement. And I've been sharing it like crazy last month. And it's the different levels of awareness, different levels of consciousness to personal growth. And this image I just demonstrated was to demonstrate as within, so without. However, as above, so below, as I give, so I receive, as I choose, I create, so I ask, as I remember. Excuse me, as I ask, so I remember. So the question that you ask, what kind of health practitioner, what kind of practice do they practice? What is their philosophy? That was where this book started at today, our conversation started at today. Do I know what the limitations are? Do I know what the benefits are? Do I know what the risk is? If you're not asking questions, well, you've asked a question. So as you ask, so you remember. So as you ask, so you receive. As you choose, so you create. So if you're choosing out of ignorance, well, guess what you're going to be getting? And so as you become aware of the things inside that are out of balance, and you have been noticing them lately in your life, and I don't have to know you personally to know that's happening in your life, because I know it's happening in your life, because you are part of this world. You are an electromagnetic, energetic being. We are going through an electromagnetic consciousness change. It has to affect you. You cannot escape it. The only way you could escape it is if you were not here at this time, at this dimension, at this plane, on this planet. Well, I hope I'm not dropping too many bombs out there, and I'm wondering if that word bomb got me booted off a social media site somewhere. However, with that being said, I want to thank you so much for being here. I have a lot to say, and I want to be mindful how I say things, and many times I can't say what needs to be said in this kind of form. And that's why I have different private groups and memberships and different one-on-one and group coaching programs. And that's where, that's where all the links are about in the description. That's what Dr. Kevin G is about. It's about connecting you to resources for the mind, body, spirit, and soul. And so I'm going to end up today with talking about something that personally I am putting out, that I sponsor. I was going to say the other way around, that it's sponsoring the show. It's not. But it's called 4 Foundations. And what is 4 Foundations? It's how do you nourish your mind, body, spirit, and soul in each and every day in little powerful ways. And when you can learn how to do that, and when you do it, and you are consistent, and you show yourself that you're winning, and you're showing yourself that you're committed, and you're seeing the synchronicity in life, aka the acts of God in your life. When you're seeing it and you're doing it, and you continue to build on it, then you refine it, rework it, and you continue to do it, and you continue to build. Well, the personal power can do nothing else but build within yourself. And when you have the personal power, regardless of what's happening outside around you, you are stable. You are adaptable. You are resilient, so that you can continue to make the right decisions at the right time and move forward in life. And tonight is one of these chances, one of these times, a choice point. We have a choice point over the next, if you're East Coast time, New York City East Coast time, we have about 4 or 5 hours remaining in decision. Make that decision, make that choice. Now the next 40 days and 40 nights, literally, are about reworking, rethinking, redoing, renewing. And it has a lot to do around things that we desire, we enjoy, we love, we get pleasure out of, we get enjoyment out of, we're building, we're nurturing. All this is being reworked in our life right now. If you're frozen in fear, this might be a tough 40 days and 40 nights for you. If you've been taking action, you've been growing and building, you've been taking action despite the fear. You've been moving forward because you want something, because you need something, because you're called to build something. Well, then this next 40 days, 40 nights is going to be a nice renewing, rejuvenating, reworking, reorienting, reconstructing what you've been building, ultimately to launch you forward. Now, hopefully you're finding inspiration one way or the other. Continue to rework and refine, regardless of what decisions you made or not made, moving forward with faith, knowing that there is goodness working for you, though you need to wake up to the lies that have been implanted within, so that you can connect to the heart. The death occurs in the skull. Death occurs in the mind. Death occurs, and when I say death, I don't mean physical death, but I mean blockage of the growth of things that you want in life. And yes, again, I mean physical death. However, that being said, it's the beliefs that hold us back. It's the beliefs that imprison us. It's the beliefs that trap. I'm going to make an analogy here. It's the beliefs of a full-grown elephant that has a tiny skinny rope tied around its leg, tied to nothing hardly, that will keep that elephant that has so much power and strength imprisoned on a piece of twine. However, you see a baby elephant, they have to have the thickest chains around their ankles because they're fighting, they're forcing, because they know that they're not supposed to be trapped. Where are you in your life? Have you been so worn down that a little twine can hold you back and say, yeah, you're good there? Or you have that youth in you, you have that spark in you, that you know that something isn't right, you're going to do something despite of it. Now I'm speaking in code, a lot of different languages, a lot of different levels right now. However, take that action that you know your heart is calling you to do, and it will be good. Blessings and best regards. I'm Dr. Kevin. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Transformation Tuesday. Work on identifying, becoming aware. Awareness, awakening, healing is the name of the system. Work and identify on how to become aware so that you can awaken to where you've been out of balance, so you can move into balance and heal and take that to the next level. Take your life to the next level. I'm Dr. Kevin. Thanks for tuning in. Check me out, drkeving.com, drkevin, D-R-K-E-V-I-N, transformations.com, synergysolutions.com. Blessings and best regards. I will see you next Tuesday.